Today we're diving into the incredible world of nature's fury tornadoes and hurricanes, the wildest, most dangerous forces that have ever hit the US. From twisters that cut through entire towns to hurricanes that leave cities underwater, we'll explore the deadliest storms that changed history, so buckle up and let's take a wild ride through some of the most powerful storms Mother Nature has ever unleashed. Let's kick things off with a storm that still holds the title of the deadliest tornado in US history. The Tri-State Tornado of 1925. Imagine this, a tornado so massive it stretches over a mile wide, tearing across the land like an unstoppable beast. This tornado didn't just hit one place, it barreled through states, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, leaving behind a path of destruction nearly 219 miles long. That's like driving from New York City to Boston and having a tornado follow you the whole way. The Tri-State Tornado destroyed entire towns in minutes, wiping them off the map. Over 695 people lost their lives, and thousands were injured. The worst part, there was no warning system back then, so people didn't even know it was coming. Just imagine the sky grows dark, and suddenly everything around you is torn apart. Buildings, homes, trees, nothing was safe. Even today, almost a century later, the Tri-State Tornado is remembered as one of the most terrifying storms in history. Now fast forward to 2005. This next storm isn't just a tornado, it's one of the most infamous hurricanes ever, Hurricane Katrina. It wasn't just a storm, it was a catastrophe that changed the entire city of New Orleans forever. Katrina hit as a powerful Category 5 hurricane, with winds reaching up to 175 miles per hour. The storm itself was devastating, but what made it even worse was the failure of the city's levees. When they broke, 80% of New Orleans was flooded. Yes, you heard that right, 80% of the city was underwater. People were stranded on rooftops waiting for days to be rescued. While the floodwaters kept rising, thousands of homes were destroyed and over 1,800 people tragically lost their lives. The images of the flooding and the destruction were broadcast all over the world, showing the sheer power of Katrina. But it wasn't just about the storm. Katrina exposed how unprepared we were for such disasters, and it led to massive changes in how we prepare for hurricanes today. Katrina is a storm that will never be forgotten. But nature wasn't done with us yet. Let's talk about a tornado that took everyone by surprise, the Joplin tornado of 2011. This wasn't just any tornado. This was an EF5 monster, the highest rating a tornado can get. It ripped through Joplin, Missouri in a matter of minutes, leveling everything in its path. The tornado was so powerful that cars were flung through the air like toys, and entire neighborhoods were flattened. You wouldn't even recognize the town after it hit. It looked like a war zone. The Joplin tornado killed 158 people and injured over 1,000. But here's the craziest part, the tornado hit a hospital dead center. Can you imagine? Doctors and nurses had to perform surgeries in the dark with flashlights and candles as the building around them crumbled. The devastation was unlike anything Joplin had ever seen. But the community came together to rebuild, proving that even in the face of the worst storms, the human spirit is unbreakable. Speaking of record-breaking storms, let's not forget the 2011 super outbreak. If you thought one tornado was bad, imagine 362 tornadoes touching down across the southern and eastern U.S. in just 4 days. That's right, over 360 tornadoes. It was like a tornado invasion, and it caused unimaginable destruction. The super outbreak hit Alabama the hardest, wiping entire neighborhoods off the map and leaving thousands homeless. The outbreak caused over $10 billion in damages, making it one of the costliest tornado events in U.S. history. One tornado during this outbreak was so massive it measured 15 miles wide. That's like 3 football fields lined up side by side. People who lived through it described the sound of the tornado as a freight train barreling through their homes. It's a reminder that when nature decides to unleash its fury, we're all at its mercy. And finally, we can't talk about deadly storms without mentioning Hurricane Andrew, the storm that left Florida in ruins back in 1992. Andrew was a Category 5 hurricane, one of the strongest hurricanes to ever hit the U.S. with winds up to 165 miles per hour. The destruction was beyond anything Florida had seen in decades. Andrew didn't just blow roofs off houses, it flattened entire neighborhoods. Over 63,000 homes were destroyed, and the damage cost was a staggering $27 billion. For many, it was like starting life from scratch as Andrew left thousands of people homeless. This storm reshaped how Florida and other coastal areas prepare for hurricanes today. After Andrew, building codes were changed, emergency response plans were updated, and people started to take hurricanes a lot more seriously. So what do all these storms have in common? They're proof that while we might think we have control over our world, nature always has the last word. But every time we rebuild, we come back stronger, and we learn these storms remind us of our vulnerability, but also of our resilience. If you enjoyed this deep dive into some of the deadliest storms in U.S. history, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. We've got more amazing stories coming your way, from history's most incredible events to the wonders of the natural world. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe out there, storm chasers.